Hey y'all, thank you so much for joining. It looks like we have, oh man, we have great attendance so far already. All right, we're only 1 minute in. If everyone can drop in where you're tuning in from and your Instagram handle, that would be great. All right, let's see. We got folks from Virginia Beach, Pennsylvania. Hello, Maria. Hey, Reckless Barber. We got folks from Canada. Okay, we are The Cut, and we are expanding to Canada pretty soon. So that's what's up. So glad to see some Canadian friends in here. Charleston, Indiana, Missouri. I know that's right. All right. Texas. Hey, E-Fades. We got Boston in here. Really nice, really nice. Please continue to drop where you're from and your name in the chat. I just want to welcome everyone to our third Business of Barbering Masterclass powered by The Cut and Anti-Broke Barbers Club. The Cut allows effortless scheduling for barbers and seamless booking for clients. And Anti-Broke Barbers Club provides barbers with the tools, knowledge, and mindset to transition their passions into a successful career. My name is Enchanta, and I'm the Cuts community manager, which means I handle all things brand ambassadors, expos, and social impact beyond the chair. I help ensure barbers have what they need to continue to be pillars in their communities online and offline. We have an amazing masterclass for you today called Lining Up Your Legacy, The Power of a Reputable Barbering Career, hosted by Rey Brotherhood, founder of Anti-Broke Barbers Club. We have a special guest today, Marvy Marv. They will be in an amazing conversation that will offer you tried and true techniques to grow your online presence, expand your clientele, and build a successful business that will become your legacy. There will be a Q&A at the end of today's class, so please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. I believe the button is green. If I'm not mistaken, it might be blue. But please use that button to ask any questions that you have for Marvy Marv, Ray, or the Cut team. The Cut team will be in the chat, and we also will be answering your questions that are related to the app in real time during the webinar. All right, so before we get started, we are gonna have our amazing The Cut product marketing manager, Meg, come and join us and tell us a little bit more about The Cut and highlight how The Cut can help you organize and grow your business. And I will let you take it from here, Meg.
Thank you, Enchanta. What's up, everyone? It's a pleasure to be here today. And I'm just going to take a little bit of time. Very excited for today's call, and I hope you guys are today too. But I want to take a little bit of time today, just share a little bit about all the great work we've been doing. And today's presentation is actually going to be very exciting because this is the first time we're introducing this in one of these sessions. But give me 2 seconds, and I will go ahead and share my screen. Awesome. There we go. All right. All right. Can I get a heads up real quick to confirm you guys can see my screen? All right. I think we're good to go. So as Enchanta said, at The Cut, we're empowering barbers with the tools you need to manage and grow your business effortlessly. And today, we're actually going to be highlighting not just barbers, but we're going to be introducing a new tool suite for dedicated directly for owners. And we're calling it Shop. Without any further ado, with Shop, this new feature, this new experience allows anybody to create additional profile types and map them to their same account. So now barbers can set up their profiles, now barbers can set up client and owner profiles and map it and switch easily between it from their existing barber account. You're able to create a shop profile, and shop profiles get maximum discoverability on our platform, allowing you to take center stage in the search experience and making sure that you keep yourself booked and busy with client discovery. You're also able to manage multiple shops with manage multiple locations within the same shop experience. So we're going to essentially take the pain and struggle away and help growth for you, make growth for you a seamless experience. You're also able to manage your shop. So just as many as you spin up, you're able to spin them down as well. And along as an owner, you're able to have full visibility into the shop's schedule, allowing you to essentially see your team's schedule and drill down not only at a high level on the shop side, but be able to go down specifically into an individual barber's profile and then be able to see what their appointments are for that day. It's also a full suite toolkit for you to manage your team. You're able to invite your staff, create appointments, assign walk-ins to them, review their profiles, read client ratings and reviews, and then make sure that you're keeping control over your shop's reputation. And you're not going to be an owner without or can't be a full suite tool without giving you the opportunity as an owner to collect booth rent from barbers. So you're going to be able to keep accurate accounting and financial records, easily track booth rent for each barber, sending reminder notifications, and ensuring on-time payments. Now, we are open for beta in shop today. Visit www.thecut.co/shop. And we'll be able to share that link out in the chat as well and be able to sign up for our beta program. And as a thank you for taking the time out of your day to check us out, we're offering 3 months for free using our discount code BBClass. Again, we'll put all of these comments, all of these call outs in the chat. So don't worry about taking notes too much. Sit back and relax because now I have the opportunity to introduce my man Rey, father, creative director, barbershop owner, and founder of Anti-Broke Barbers Club. Without any further ado, take it away, Rey.
Hey, what's going on, man? Thanks for that introduction. I'd like to thank you guys for joining us today. This is our third Business of Barbering masterclass. And the topic this week is lining up your legacy, the power of a reputable barber career. And a special guest this evening. He's a father, he's a barber, and he's an inspiration to a lot of people, Marvy Marv. Give him a second to get up in here.
Barbers, can you see me? Can you hear me? We good? We live?
Yes, sir. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, Ray. First and foremost, man, I want to say thank you for having me. Thank you for the whole team for having me. It's a pleasure to be on here. I'm looking forward to having a informative and insightful and enjoyable conversation. And it's cool. I didn't realize this is just the third one. So it's exciting to be a part of like the early stages of this, because I know that you're going to keep going. You guys are going to keep putting in that work and growing this thing. So I'm excited to see where you grow it to and can't wait to have a great conversation today and then come back, you know what I mean, as you continue to grow along. So thanks again.
Definitely appreciate you joining us, man. This has been a long time coming for me. I've always liked your work. You've been doing this for a while, and even before I knew of you. I definitely want to say first kudos to what you're doing, and that's why you're one of the very first, people that we haven't on the show. You're definitely on the top of the list. So, jump to kind of get right into it. You've been in the topic of discussions. I don't want to say recently, it's probably been the whole year, if we kind of go back up top. to a few different things, and I don't want to say like situations. I would kind of say debates, right? You know, healthy debates about the industry and how that's going. But I'll save that for a little later. I first want to ask you, how long have you been a barber, and what got you into barbering?
Yeah, I am quite the conversation starter, right? I get the conversations going on social media, so those are always fun, and I'm sure we're gonna have some good conversations when it comes to that. As
Yes,
far as
sir.
barbering, man, I got started in 2010, got my license in 2011, and I'll try to keep this story short because it can kind of be a long story. But long story short, I was at a point in my life where I was just working in a warehouse, and I was doing like forklift operating and building pallets that were being shipped to the stores called Hannaford. And I did that for a little bit, and it paid well. But I felt like it was a limiting position for somebody like me to be in because I just kind of felt like a robot. And I just didn't really enjoy that much. I felt like, while I was building the pallets and stuff, I was, unleashing my creativity. But in the same sense, I didn't feel like I was being able to fully express myself in a creative way. And doing that for 40, 50 hours, 60 hours a week just kind of got redundant. So I ended up quitting that job, but I still needed to take care of my responsibilities, right? So what I ended up doing was working for a couple of the local pizza shops. I was working for Domino's, and I was working for a local pizza shop. The name of it's called Cugino's. And I was just at a point in my life, bro, where I was trying to figure out my direction, where I was going to go. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I'm 23, 24 years old. And one day working at the pizza shop, one of my buddies comes walking in who I hadn't seen in a while. So he comes to pick up his food, and as he's walking in, I'm like, what's up, bro? How you been? He's like, what's up, Mar? I'm good. How you been? And I'm like, I'm good. Just been doing what I got to do, working here. I'm working at Domino's. And I'm like, what's up with you? What you been up to? And he goes, I'm in school right now. And I said, school? You went back to school? He's like, yeah, bro. So I'm like, well, what are you going to school for? And he's like, I'm actually in barber school. And I laughed like most people do when you tell them you're going to barber school, right? I was like, barber school?
Mhm.
And he's like, yeah, bro, I'm in barber school. I'm like, where do they do that at? Because I didn't even know they did that type of thing. So he told me
Yeah,
where he was
yeah.
going, So I asked him, I'm like, how do you like it? You enjoy it? And he tells me he loved it. He was having a lot of fun. Um, so in that moment, I thought to myself, I'm like, well, I am a creative person. I've always done like music my whole life. I've been a drawer. I've just always been into like artistic stuff. So I thought for a second, I'm like, man, I do like going to the barber shop. I always have fun there. Never really given it real thought about becoming a barber. But I said, you know what? Maybe I should go look into that because I'm just at a point in my life where I don't really know what I want to do. Maybe that could be something I do. So he's like, yeah, go over. They got financial aid, blah, blah, blah. But then there was a moment where I almost talked myself out of it, bro, because I just thought to myself, like, yeah, maybe I won't like it. Maybe they won't accept me, this, that, and the third. And as I'm having that type of conversation with him, he says to me something I would say to people now, he goes, well, bro, you won't know until you try. You might as well go over and just try. Worst case scenario, you don't get in, or maybe you do. So I'm like, you know what? I should go over there. So I went over, long story short, I got in, fell in love with it. And here we are today, 14, 15 years, what is it? 14 years later, been able to be a shop owner for most of my career. Barber has taken me all over the country. I've been able to do some really amazing stuff in the industry, been able to connect with some dope people. And it was the best decision I made. One of the best decisions I made in my life was to go to barber school, and I'm forever grateful for it. But, it kind of happened in a way where it was almost a stroke of luck, right? Because what if he didn't order pizza that night? What if he didn't come in to pick up his food? What if he ordered Chinese food? Or what if he decided to cook at home? I always think about that from time to time. Like, where would I be if he never came into the pizza shop? And the funny thing about it, Ray, is that he actually don't even cut hair, bro. He never even became an actual barber. Never. He works for like the government. He does some cybersecurity type stuff, some stuff where he's always telling me he can't really talk about it. And I still cut his hair to this day when he's
That's
around this
dope.
way. But that's crazy, bro. Like he didn't even become a barber. So it's almost like he came in that day, in that moment to
That's
like put me here. You know what I mean? So that's how I got
yeah.
started.
So tell us what was the hardest parts for you. I know you're a father, right? So I'm not sure if you were a father before you got into barbering or whatnot, but what was the hardest things that you kind of had to deal with, if you can name a few?
It was tough, bro, because again, I'm 23, 24 years old. I just had my first kid, and then as I can't remember the exact timeline, but while I was in barber school getting closer to the end, I ended up having another kid with another woman. So a
Mhm,
lot of people don't know I got,
mhm,
two baby, like I'm married, right? Got a baby mom, all of that, right? So I
mhm,
had two kids, I'm in my early 20s. I was living in projects at that time. I was paying $13 a month for rent, so that was helpful. But I was
ooh,
doing the pizza shop, right? And I was going to school, trying to juggle having multiple newborns and dealing with multiple women with the multiple newborns and just trying to figure it all out. So, on top of the pressures of trying to get good at cutting hair and building the clientele and just all of that stuff. So, it was rough. It was definitely rough early on, but I'm always a person that, for whatever reason, I believe that I'm gonna be okay and I'm gonna figure it out. And if I want to
mhm,
get things done, I'm gonna get them done. So even though there were plenty of times where I'm just looking up at the sky like, why, bro? Like, why? I always have that
mhm.
deep down belief and faith that number one, I'm gonna be okay. And these challenges may be challenges now, but at a certain point, they're not gonna be challenges no more. So, I just kept that faith,
Mhm.
stay strong, and here we are. But there was just a lot of challenges early on for sure, man.
So you said, at that time, now you're juggling two women. Um, you being a shop owner and shop owner now, knowing what you went through and maybe what you've seen your staff go through at barbers you've had to work with over the years owning a shop, that plays a big part in a lot of how a barber maneuvers, how they act, how they are in the shop, how they are with their clients, how they are with their time. Um, how was that difficult at that time? Because I know, not to get all in your business, but I know
Yeah.
at that age we're not mature men, right? We might be, a little more advanced business wise, doing this, eager and stuff like that, but we might not be too a man fully in that aspect. So was that very rough for you doing that at that time? And how did you kind of overcome it? Or what made you, what did you learn from that situation?
Oh man, I learned a lot, man. But I'd say the biggest thing that ended up helping me get through all of that and just started me going off in a really positive direction and getting me like locked in was getting into
Mhm,
personal development. Right around that time, I started reading books. I never was a reader. I never was into that. And the first book that I came across, I don't remember how. I don't remember exact way how, but it was called The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna read this book, and I started to read that book, and it just started giving me insight and changing the way I was thinking. And then throughout the book, he started offering different resources of other stuff that it was helpful. And then it just took me down this path where I just became obsessed with reading books, bro. And I just started buying books on all types of stuff: personal development, relationships, communication, sales, marketing, philosophies, psychology, just all different types of things. And just got obsessed with educating myself and brainwashing myself and trying to develop a mindset that was going to be more beneficial for me. Some stuff that a lot of the stuff I learned, I just learned from people that I don't actually know. These authors I don't actually know. I never met them, but a lot of them
yeah,
have helped me so much and mentored me so much. Where being where I'm from, the small city I'm from, and ain't nobody in my family getting to the bag like that or ever really done nothing crazy like that. In fact, I was the first one to go to college, and I only went to a junior college. So it was just I became obsessed with learning, and then that just grew out. I started listening to audiobooks and and watching stuff on YouTube, listening to podcasts. Even to this day, when I'm in the car by myself, I'm always putting on something that's informative for whatever I feel like I need to learn for that day, right? So it might have something to do with philosophy. It might have something to do with spirituality. It might have something to do with, being a better man, being a better husband, being a better father, whatever I'm feeling that day. And I just try to brainwash myself with a lot of empowering thoughts and insights to overpower all of the negative stuff we get hit with every day. So that's
So,
how
so,
my mind got shaped.
so what you're saying, so what your deal was pretty much is, I guess, it's mental health, right?
Yeah.
That's a deal, and everybody deals with it in different ways, right? You just went into a way where you didn't have to go see someone, right? You felt that you needed to be better within in general, and you found a way, and that way worked for you, right? So we all start somewhere. We all have issues. We all have things we have to overcome, right? And those are the things that shapes us. And I always like to talk about the personal things, because me as a shop owner, and I'm sure you probably can attest, is that your problems from outside have to come with you,
Yeah.
right, to work sometimes. Just, your mind's dealing with it. You might be angry, you might be sad, you might be hurt, whatever it may be, and those things bleed off into your clients that are sitting there, right? Maybe one day when you're the guy that always, hey, inviting someone to come in the shop, maybe you're not so eager that day, right? So, it just, everybody has a things that they're bringing inside that affects their everyday barbering. So you as a owner, right? So we're probably going to jump around a little bit.
That's cool.
Um, Talking about the business part and the legacy part, and I seen you post something about honoring your original clients that you've had from day one, not necessarily day one, the people that you're just your regulars that take care of you, because that's the most important part, right? And if you're trying to build something reputable in this industry, you have to be a barber that is pretty much about their business, what I'm saying, running your business the way it would, your clients can easily, deal with you. How do you feel that barbers handle that now? I know you've seen the pre-COVID barbers and the after COVID barbers. How do you feel that the barbers are kind of handling themselves now, with this new age?
Yeah. I mean, we are in times where, bro, we've never been here, right? Like as humans, so we're dealing with just these new forms of technology, and we're dealing with all of these different things fighting for our attention, and we're dealing with all of our responsibilities, and then we're getting just a lot of BS thrown at us every day. So yeah, it's hard, bro. Like life is very hard, and that's why I feel like it's so important to, like I said earlier, just brainwash yourself. I do my best to just brainwash myself with insight and positivity, because if you don't, if you're just somebody that just isn't intaking um insight that's going to be beneficial to you, it can be very easy to just get down and depressed, and every day you wake up things go left, and it's almost like you wake up and life is like, here you go, here's a bunch of BS for you. And if you don't figure out how to manage and control that and deal with it, and you just wear it with you, it ultimately can and ruin, a lot of things for you. The last week or two weeks ago now, my grandmother passed, and this is
Well,
the
sir.
appreciate it, bro. This is the first person in my life that I lost that I was like really close with. Like I've lost people growing up, friends from overdoses and just people dying randomly, and aunts and uncles and stuff. But my grandmother was somebody I've been visiting every week. I'm the first grandchild. This one hitting different. You know what I mean? And in my shop, my cousin works with me. He's my younger cousin. He's like 25, 26. And he was very close with her too. And so, it's weighing on him a lot, right? And then aside from that, we got things that are tearing at us every day. He has some other stuff going on in his life too. So, last week he's in there and he's just in the dumps. He's in the dumps, and how can he not
Mhm.
be? You know, he just lost his grandmother and he's got some other stuff going on. But you know, I had to have a conversation with him, and I'm just like, bro, like, I get it, man. I get it. I get the pain. Maybe our pain isn't the same, but I get the pain. I get the sadness. I get the frustration. I get all of that. I said, but we got to figure out a way to just be better for these people that are coming to see us. And when I say be better, I mean higher vibrating energy. You know what I mean? Because when these people
Mhm.
are paying us these high prices, because our clients all, you know, pay us, because we get paid a lot nowadays, and they're excited to come see us. And then when they come see us, we're unloading all of our baggage on them, or our aura is just not right because we're going through whatever we're going through. At the end of the day, it's really not fair to them, you know. And I get we go through
Mhm.
things. I go through things myself too, you know. And so I was just trying to explain to him, like, I'm not saying to suppress how you feel or to not acknowledge it or to act like nothing's wrong. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you to compartmentalize it and handle it outside
Mhm.
of here. Right now, we got to be laughing. We got to be roasting each other. We got to be joking. We got to be a good energy. We got to be having fun. So then we get in the car, drive home. Let's cry. Let's scream. Let's be mad. Whatever we got to do, but let's do our best to be a positive energy. So, um, you know, ultimately, I think it's super important to carry yourself that way, and I think it's super important to just carry yourself as a person that is appreciative for the blessings that we have every day. You know, because
Yeah.
even with losing my grandmother and some of the other stuff going on in my world, I got a lot of blessings. Same thing with my cousins. So it's the reminder to be grateful for all of those things, you know, and that's kind of the thinking that inspired that post, to be grateful about some of our day ones. Because I think the further along we get in the journey, it can be easy to lose sight of that. You start to get detached from that and you start to forget that. We start to develop some sort of like, you know, we're nice now, we're built up now, we don't need you no more type of swag. And, you know, it's just, remember, bro, it can all be taken away from us
And
at any given moment. Yeah, you know?
yeah, and I trust me, man. Trust me, I know. I've worked with barbers. I worked with a lot of different barbers. I've worked with barbers that've been that has celebrity clientele. And and few of them started only wanting to handle celebrity clientele, right? Um, and then when times get rough, you know, and the celebrities, if you work in that type of world, they're not always in your city. They're not that team that they're on, they're going to get traded. You know, that movie set that they're working on, if they're in LA or maybe New York or Atlanta, they're going to soon go back home. Or, you know, they might be on The Voice for 6 months, you know, or 3, 4 months, you know. So your celebrity or that type of client is always going to shift. And if you know, you shun off your day one people because, you know, you you want to charge them an extra $10 more you know, whatever it is that you
Yeah.
do, right? And then, you know, when times get to where, you know, it got to at one time, you know, you really see, you know, the type of clients that you have, or if a barber's actually built up their clientele. So it just made me laugh when I seen your last post, make barbers great again, right? And I was just before, and to me, I just see, you know, that's before the popularity of all this, right? People just really like love being in the shop, love going to the barbers, talking to people. But now I feel like, you know, barbers have found a way to kind of finesse certain situations, right? And one thing I like about you is it's strictly kind of business first that you always talk about, right?
Yeah.
Um, oh, if shit, I feel like if you're going, you know, and you might be different, but I feel like, you know, you're gonna be mad and want to, you know, charge a client for being late, a $10 this or $15 this. What are you charging them when you're late? What are you giving them? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? What are you offering to them? So, you know, that's the business part of barbering. And that's what I kind of like that you always preach, and, you know, make barbers great again. So
Yeah,
on
yeah,
that aspect,
grateful, grateful too. That's what it, you know, is make barbers grateful. Because, man, I don't, we just be acting so entitled these days, and it's crazy to me. And, you know, we'll get into some of that, but I know you're about to ask me a question, so I don't want to derail your thought.
no, so we're getting to the make barbers great again. So, you know, we're kind of in the you know, we just got finished with the presidential you know, election, right? And I guess you put some stuff up, or, you know, you voiced your opinion and you lost a lot of followers. You know, so I don't really care.
173. 100 and
Oh, that's oh,
173. It wasn't too bad.
okay.
The dip
Because
was cool. It
I
was
don't
like the dip was like boop. I think it's like it
Going
was like
on?
probably like 200.
So, not worried about who you voted for, that's, your stuff. But what were some of the things that people were most outraged about, was it somebody that unfollowed you that you were very shocked that they unfollowed you?
So, not that I can think of. There wasn't, because I don't know who specifically unfollowed me. The only way I know is,
I see the video when you went in the video, you kind of mentioned like some people that thought that we were cool. So I'm insinuating like, okay, that's somebody that he might have had a little relationship there with that
well, no.
unfollowed
So
us.
what I said in the video was I said something along the lines, and I'm sure that people who I thought we were cool probably are gonna look at me different. It so when I
Okay.
said that, it's coming from a spot of I just know how human nature is, and I know how people work, right? And you know that too. And
Yeah.
so it's coming from a spot where I know that there are people out there now that I feel like we're cool or okay with that probably look at me different, but I don't know specific examples. So I could be completely wrong about that, right? But I'm just assuming just by probability purposes that there's somebody out there, that seen that and is just kind of like, yeah, nah, I mean, Marv is, that slow little distance
Mhm.
away. But you lose followers. The crazy part about something like that, bro, is what you see to the public is the side of it, whatever side you're on, but you get to see the side of people um, who disagree with you being very vocal and loud about that and filling up the comment section. But what you don't get to see is all of the people that DM you because they're people that are in agreement with you or support you. And they don't want
Mhm.
to leave the comment because they don't want to deal with people arguing with them in the comments. They don't want that type of conflict or confrontation,
Okay.
right?
Yep, yep.
So rather than leaving a comment, they go to your inbox and they'll say something to you in your inbox. So, after that post, I did, a couple that were along the lines of that. There's a ton of people that loved it, ton of people that supported it for their own reasons, right? There's people that support exactly what you're saying, and then there's people that support the idea that you should be able to freely say what you want fearlessly. So there's a lot of that. And then obviously the people who disagree with what I said in the video, they a lot of them didn't like it, so they announced their departure and left. But
Mhm.
it was cool. It was cool. I tell you one thing I've never liked. I don't like the idea of, they always say there's a couple things you should never discuss, and that's politics and religion. I
Mhm.
understand it, and I do understand it from a business perspective. That's why you don't really see me doing it too much on my page, just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want my page to become that, right? But at the
yeah.
same time, I don't like that idea. I don't like the idea that we shouldn't be able to engage in dialogue when we may not see eye to eye. I feel like
Yeah.
that's just avoiding it's like running from it and avoiding things that otherwise I feel like we should just discuss, and that's honestly the type of environment that I do my best to carry in my shop. Some people may not agree with it, but we try to have dialogue in the shop. And for the most
Mhm.
part, over the years of me doing all of this barbering stuff with politics specifically, I can only think of one time back in like 2016 where there was like a nice little outburst and a loud argument. But aside from that, it's just been pretty civil dialogue and just debate. And
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's needed, regardless,
Mhm.
in
Of course.
not just politics, other stuff too. I think dialogue where we're disagreeing can be beneficial because what you tend to learn in that dialogue is that we agree on much more than we think we do. And we're a lot more alike
Of course.
in a lot of instances than we're aware of. You know what I'm saying?
No, definitely. So get into the greatest president of all time. Your man Vic Blends
Yeah.
was cutting and interviewing Barack Obama.
Fire.
How do you feel about that, man?
Fire. I posted it on my page too. And there were people that got mad about it because they disagree with Obama's policies or politics, whatever the case may be.
Okay,
And
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And that's even in that video, if you look at
Barbers, like actual barbers?
yeah, barbers were upset. If you lean, because we're in a very polarized society right now. So if you are the fan of one side, anything that has to do with the other side, in a lot of instances with people, is just the ultimate turnoff, right? Where for me, I can detach myself from it and say, even if I didn't agree with the right or I didn't agree with the left, whatever the case may be, I just thought Vic getting the opportunity to do an interview with Barack Obama to me is fire, especially when that's one of his like favorite people, right? And just the idea
Yeah.
of a barber doing it on that type of scale, we haven't seen nothing like that. So even if, and I'm not saying I do, obviously there are things I disagree with when it comes to Obama, just like there's things I disagree with when it comes to the other side of the aisle. But even if I disagreed with everything Obama stood for, I still think that's dope as hell because like it's just fire. How is it not? You know, so some barbers were upset about it. They were upset about that. And they were upset when I shared Trump went to the shop in New York City too. They weren't fans of that. But I'm like, bro, I don't know. I get both sides do it for political reasons and for optics and try to get votes, but I think some of this stuff is cool, and it's just my opinion.
Yeah, man. If we're talking about business, and that's what we're all here to, we're here doing, right? You're a barber, you are a business, you are a brand, right? And me not being a barber, right? So I'm not a barber. I've had a shop since 2012. Um, and that's how I know. What year did you start doing your online kind of talking?
You there?
Yeah, did you hear me?
You said my online what?
What year did you start doing your online talking? Like,
Like yelling
videos
at the
started kind of
camera?
going viral. Yeah.
Um, I'd say probably 2016, 2017-ish. I was making
Okay.
content before that because I was doing music and I was doing some motivational stuff, but the barbering stuff really started taking off in like 2017.
Yeah, so I opened a shop 2012, right? So getting into that, I was always promoting and things like that, and I would see your videos, and I would send them. I would send them to the barbers. I probably posted them or reshared them, and things like that, just because your thought process as far as being a barber. It was straightforward. You had, as you are a barber, and you had the business aspect, right? So me and my mindset, as I wasn't a barber, I've always wanted to open a shop since I was kind of younger. I used to hang out in barber shops, things like that. So I was always more so super business minded, right? So I sit and watch and analyze things in the shop, just how, you kind of watch barbers and how barbers are, right? Like what you said earlier, we know how humans are,
Yeah.
right? We understand that part. Um, so to me, when I seen Vic, I'm like, oh, no barber's fucking with bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just as far as that, like, I don't care what he does with his clippers. When it comes to maybe a definition of a celebrity barber, this guy might be it,
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
And there's some as well, but that only cut celebrities. He chooses to go cut and give away haircuts, regardless if you care how his method is, or you feel like he's too young to be spitting something that a 60-year-old would be saying, or whatever people's gripe is with him, right? He is doing something, and that's why I hate to see the hate, because he is doing something that's putting barbers in another stratosphere,
Exactly.
right?
That's
It's it's
exactly what I said.
showing barbers that are getting to go, that's in barber school, right? Or just starting out, right? I showed my son it. You know what I'm saying? My son, they see, I have this barber brand, and I've owned barbershops, multiple barbershops, multiple states for over the past 12 years, right? So everything they've seen growing up has been barbershop. They've seen me build, put in floors, put in the walls, put everything that you could see. That's what they've grown up seeing, right? So I
Yeah.
showed him, he's like, what? Like he's cutting like the president, he's cutting Obama, like that excites them.
Yeah.
you know, that's similar to your kids damn near seeing you go cut a basketball player or Anthony Edwards or something like that. Like those things are big. And for people to hate on someone that's moving the culture forward is just crazy to me, which it's really not, but it just always mind boggles
Yeah.
me that
Yeah.
barbers will be the ones that are hating on it the most, right?
Yeah. So there's a couple things I want to say about all of it. It's because in that video I said salute to Vic for opening doors for barbers, and you have people like respectfully, what doors is he opening? And it's like, bro, I don't even like back in the day. Maybe I would engage in some dialogue and try to give understanding, but what I've come to learn in a lot of instances is I can explain it to you, but I can't understand it for you. So I don't even waste my time with something like that. If you can't see how Vic is opening doors for barbers, then you just aren't looking. You're not paying attention, and that's whatever. You figure that out. But it's also funny too because with Vic doing that with Obama, most of the hate is going to come from people who are on the other side of the aisle, which truthfully, when you look at the grand scope of things, most of us are more in the center on this whole thing. And then you'll have extreme people on one side, extreme people on the other. So now we all get cast into the extreme boxes for each side, right? But when you strip all of that away, most of us are somewhere like right in the center, right? But you'll have the people who disagree with that side's politics upset because Vic did that, call him a sellout. He sold his soul. He's a hate, he's this, that, and a third, or they're hating for whatever reason. But it's funny because those same exact people, if he were to do that with Donald Trump, they would have been celebrating it, right? And,
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So it's, to me, it's moments like that that show the hypocrisy. Because for me, no matter who he sat down with, whether it was Obama, whether it was Trump, I was sharing that because to me, I think that's dope that we got a barber sitting there cutting a former president's hair and having dialogue. But that's never
Like he's
happened.
like he's his homie, like that type
Yeah,
of dialogue.
yeah,
Not no just random ask you a couple questions, Obama. Like
yeah.
he's
And
cutting
I
him
seen
like
Vic come from. I've been in this thing, right? So I've been navigating. And the first time I met Vic was back in like 2016, 17. He drove up to the CT Barber Expo and he stopped by my booth, showed love, showed me his social media. So, and told me, I always bring this up whenever I talk about Vic, is he told me, he said, bro, you're going to hear about me one day. And I said, all right, bro, everybody says that. He said, you're going to hear about me one day. And from that day, he asked me along with a lot of other people so many different questions, and he's grown so much. So you got to remember my perspective of him, which a lot of people may not realize is so different than most people because I seen him as a young kid that nobody knew who
Yeah.
he was, exchanging my shirt with his shirt, taking pictures. I've seen his whole growth. I'd done a podcast with him back in 2018 when he's 19 years old or whatever. So I've seen him put in this work. I've known him behind the scenes. So to see him go from having a conversation with Marvy Marv and doing, podcasts with any old body to now sitting there with Barack Obama, to me, it hits different. And I can't help but to respect it just because I know the amount of work he put in.
Man, I definitely agree with you. And I know as a barber, like that definitely should be, something that people are, definitely proud of him about. Not to say other barbers haven't done, other things, big things, right? But that's just one that you see, and what people some view about him or some don't. But dope thing that you said, right? And that's what I get as well, having the booths, you get so many young, hungry barbers come up to you, right? You get so many barbers that come up to you and is full of shit as well. You just have different, some come and they really want the knowledge. They really want to be better. They really want to do better. And there's some that come and they say that. And then you give them these opportunities. And, some of us are people that give them opportunities fast, right? And they don't do what they say they actually wanted to do, right? So to see someone come up to you, come up to the booth and say what they were going to do and actually do it and doing it in that magnitude and that time frame is definitely dope, right? And you guys got to remember when we judge people, about what they're doing, you're not going to see the results from it right then and there. Sometimes what people are doing in the seeds that they're planting, you're not going to see for 6 months, 5 years, 10 years, right? So what these barbers are doing now, what you guys are doing in pushing the culture and the brand, the brand of barbering a lot further is dope, right? Um, so on kind of that part, right? And we're talking about, legacy. How do you feel how do you feel legacy is is for you, right? I know you have a unique style, unique brand. Um, how is that how do you feel about legacy and what are you doing kind of, to prolong, your legacy and what you're doing?
If I'm gonna be fully honest with you, bro, I don't really think much about that, and here's why. people forget about you, bro. Like, like the minute you are gone, the minute you are gone, you're gonna have a lot of people. Oh my God, did you hear what happened? This is crazy. No way. This is how can this be? And you're gonna get all of this love
Oh,
online, and it's gonna be insane. And then 2 weeks, not even, but we'll give people 2 weeks later,
damn.
you're just gonna be on and about, with their life. And again, I just seen this with my grandmother. Mind you, she just passed, right? And my grandmother is, not somebody's trying to do things online and stuff like that, but I've seen it with influencers that have come and gone. I've seen them trending on Twitter and trending here, and then next thing you know, it's wow, we haven't talked about Nipsey Hussle in a while. We haven't talked about him in a while, right? So I don't really think about legacy in the aspect I think most people think about it in, just because I just think people are going to forget about most people unless
Oh,
you're that person that just can really figure it out. But what I want to be just remembered for is somebody um that that did his best to make everybody he came in contact with better, right? Like I want to be remembered as, um, I want to be somebody that when it's all over for me, just is an inspiration. You know what I'm saying? When they look at whatever I've done or any moment of contact we've ever had in life, I want them to think about those thoughts and remember those things and have that be fuel that inspires them. You know what I'm saying? And even a lot of with my content, as long as my content stays alive, if let's say, God forbid, something were to happen to me, I would hope that my content will continue to empower and help barbers for as long as it was available on the internet. And who knows how long it's going to be? I made a lot of stuff on MySpace. That stuff is gone forever. So you just don't know how long things are going to last. But I just want to be remembered as somebody that is trying to inspire and empower people. And I want people to see my body of work and try their best to be the type of person that inspires and empowers people and leaves people in a better position than they found them in. And it just tries to be the change that they claim they want to see and be the type of person that they think the world needs more of.
man, that's dope. And I know you're being humble and stuff, right? And I'm sure you don't really think of it too much, right? But I want to give you your flowers, right? And kind of let you know that, legacy is more than maybe just, obviously we're not getting holidays and things like that. And, obviously people are going to post you and mourn you for a week or 2 weeks or however that is, afterlife. But I can say, and I know because I know people come up to you, right, and say, bro, I watched the video that you said X amount of years ago and it helped me with this, and you did this and you helped me with this. I know they came and worked in your shop, might not be there still, but the small time or thing like that they were in the shop, they learned from you and stuff, right? So I definitely feel like your legacy will be known as a person that was pushing the culture forward, pushing people forward, you know, not just agreeing. You're a person that really doesn't agree with just the regular stuff that just looks a certain way, right? You have a lot more intelligence and understanding. So I definitely want to give your flowers on that because you'll definitely be remembered as a legend. God forbid anytime soon, right? But you'll definitely be one that people will look at because even though I can't remember specific times, but I know that I listened to your content before, and whether you were talking about barbers or what they were doing personally or how they were in your shop or whatever it is, just in business wise, that I learned from you as well, right? Which I'm sure a lot of barbers and people that's been in the game now for a while has as well. So I definitely
Yeah,
want you to
I
know.
appreciate that, bro. I appreciate it. And I'm not perfect, right? Like I make more mistakes than I make so many mistakes. I fail so many times in life. I do stuff where I'm just like, what are you an idiot, bro? What are you doing? But
Mhm.
I always try to lead with love, and I always try to lead by doing what I truly believe is the right thing. And I always try my best to live in my truth and try to find some sort of objective truth and share it, man. And I'm not scared to challenge the status quo or the pre-framed ways of thinking or going about things. I think it's always good to challenge some stuff where it's just like, okay, it wasn't done this way, but maybe it can be. Even with Vic, bro. I remember Vic from the beginning. So I've seen him get hated on for trying to teach people and inspire people and motivate people when he's 19. What does this kid know? He don't know nothing. He ain't lived no life. You know, I seen him get hated on for charging $100 a cut before it was popular to do on social media. Why is he charging? You know, who does he think he is? And, you know, I've seen him go through all of those steps and then see where he is now, you know? So, at the end of the day, it's just you, as long as I think you're focused and you know what you want and you stay intentional and you do your best to lead with love, I think whatever's meant to happen will ultimately happen. You know what I mean? And that's why for me, I'm always sharing insights, thoughts, beliefs, opinions of my truth unapologetically. I It may sound messed up to say, but I don't really take feelings into consideration when I'm doing that. Maybe that's a flaw. Maybe that's something I got to work on. But for me, I'm just trying to share the truth. I'd rather you tell me a harsh
Sometimes you got
truth
hurt
than a
feelings, right?
beautiful lie. I just, you know,
Yep.
I'd rather that. So I try to live by that myself. And of course, that turns people off, but it also makes people love you for it. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm just trying my
Facts.
best, just like we all are, bro. I'm trying my best.
No, man, that's one of the things I definitely love about you is, you know, the truth, right? And that's the type of person I am, right? We get called assholes for it, you know, and things like that, but we really want the best for you and we want you to figure it out now. Like if you're gonna be whack, just quit right now, or if you want to follow through, you know, actually go do it, right?
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, you know, I know we're getting close to kind of wrapping it up here before we get to the Q&A. Um, how did you give us some how did you, you know, during your whole process, how did you build up your books, right? How did you build up your booking? Um and maybe this maybe around more so when you started using your booking apps, right? You know, what are ways that helped you get people to stop texting you to for their appointments, right? And actually use the link. What are some things that helped you put more people in your seat by using the booking link? Or just anything that you that can help barbers when trying to fill up their books.
I tell you what, Barber's got it so much easier now than I had it when I first started, you know, because for me, it was a lot of through Facebook got me clients, but a lot of it was just me being active in these streets and trying to get everybody to come see me, not being scared to offer free haircuts, not being scared to have my clientele, you know, refer people, giving a whole bunch of free haircuts, a lot of free haircuts, believe it or not, built my
Mhm.
clientele, you know, a lot of that. And just good old fashioned, just seeing people, having conversation, and then giving them my information. So that's what helped me build a lot. I'll tell you what, when it comes to the booking app thing, I was one of the first ones. I think we probably were the first shop in my general area to have a booking app because, again, I've been in this whole little Instagram barber niche, little weird thing for a while now. So I was going to the CT Barber Expos and all these events. So when I found out about the booking app, I was like, wait, what? We can do that. So we brought it back, you know, to our hometown. And it was weird at first because nobody was doing it. Nobody was doing it. So it was a lot harder of a sale to people than it is now with, you know, you having
Yeah.
it's kind of the norm now. Barbers have booking apps and you know, COVID really shifted all of that, got everybody on the appointment wave. So it's a lot different now. And I just think barbers have it so much easier. I think one of the biggest mistakes barbers make, for one, I think you need to have a booking app. I definitely think you need to have one
Mandatory.
mandatory because earlier on in your career, you can get by without it because you're not dealing with a lot of texts, you're not dealing with a lot of phone calls. But as that book starts to build up and you have a busy day in the shop and then you're done with your busy day, you're exhausted, the day beats you up, people were just annoying you through the day, whatever. Now you got 13 text messages you got to respond to, 7 missed calls you got to return. And now you got your family, right? So for people that have families and you're supposed to be giving your significant other time, you got kids, you got supposed to give them time. So now you're home
Yeah.
after all day in the shop on your phone for the next hour and a half trying to set appointments. So, you know, I definitely think it's a must for barbers, even early
Yeah.
on, just to leverage some of the features that come with the booking app. And then just to start training your clients who are, for the most part, a lot of
Yeah.
them are going to be trained now because it's a more normalized thing, just getting them on your
Mhm.
app. Um, and then locking them in. But I think one of the mistakes that so many barbers make, one of the ones I made a lot earlier on, was just not doing my best to rebook people right on the spot and set up reoccurring
Right.
appointments. You know,
Facts.
I would cut somebody, they would love the haircut, best haircut they ever got. They were a
They
dope
just
person, pay me good. Yeah, see you soon, bro, and just let them leave. Where now it's like, yo, let's just set you up for your next appointment, right? So, you know, just to give the people tuning in an example of how I would play it out. If I was cutting somebody who booked a Thursday 2 o'clock slot at some point during the conversation, I would ask them, I'd say, hey, you know, how often do you like to get your haircut if you could? And they were going to answer. They're going to say, you know, usually I like to do every 3 weeks or so when I
Mhm.
can, but sometimes I got to stretch it out because it just, you know, life, blah, blah, blah. So then I would then say, well, what we could do if you would like is I could set you up on a reoccurring appointment for every 3 weeks, and we can lock in your spot, and you could just have that spot. God forbid something pops up, we can always change it or whatever, but you would at least know you'd have that spot every 3 weeks. Is that something you would like to
You
do?
know, Marv, you know, that comes from, and I don't, maybe this comes from your jobs, right? And what you're reading. A lot of barbers don't know sales,
Yeah.
right? If
Yeah.
they've never had those
Sales is
jobs.
huge.
My first job was I was out at 12. I was outside selling candy. I would get picked up, go get dropped off at stores or areas and walk around and have to sell candy. So I knew how to talk to people. I
Yeah.
knew how to rebuttal, right? If there was why you didn't want to do it right now or I didn't have the amount, I know how to, respond to that, right? So to me, barbering and going to barber school is just the beginning,
Yeah.
right? When you get out of that, everything it's like undergrad or learning something else or going back to school for your master's and things like that by adding, go take a sales class, go take finance class, go take, you don't might not have to graduate from a university, but you still have some of those credits or just that knowledge of passing those classes that is going to enhance your business.
Yeah.
Barbering is a business, so learning how to use these apps and navigate them and push your people there. And just like you said, you're trying to rebook. Like your job is to make more money and get your books full. So somebody that's sitting in your chair, why wouldn't you ask him, hey, and this person comes every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, why not rebook them? Reoccurring money. Know how much money you're making next week, how much you're making money in 2 weeks and 3 weeks, and know what your month is about, right? And know how to plan that. That's going to help you in a lot of ways
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, for sure. And then again, that's why, like earlier, I was saying, man, I try to brainwash myself with sales and marketing and all of that, and one of the things that I've learned over the years is that it's not the best product that wins in any market. It's the most known product, right? So as a barber, you are the product. If you're not as booked as you want to be, but you do have people coming back to you, clearly you're good enough to get people to coming back to you. It's got to be on you to figure out how you get yourself more known, and social media is an amazing tool for that. And like the
Mhm.
cut app, amazing tool for that. And there's a lot of amazing tools to help you get more known, but like that's the key, just figuring out how to get more known. And then just like you said, learning sales is so huge. And if you could get past the point of, because here's the mistake so many of us make. We rather avoid feeling feelings than going after our goals, right? So we don't want to hear somebody tell us no, or we don't want to get rejected, or we don't want to feel embarrassed, or we don't want to, like we don't want to feel these things. So we'll avoid going after the goal. And an example of that would be, let's say there was somebody that I seen across from me that had a hairstyle I know I could crush, and I wanted to promote myself to them. Maybe I start feeling a little scared about it. I get nervous. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. Right. So then what most people will do is, rather than have to feel those feelings, just go through it and feel those feelings. They'll avoid putting themselves in a position to feel them feelings. And they'll just say, you know what? They're busy. Maybe the next person I'll promote myself to, where me, what I've learned is to feel the feelings and do it anyway. So I've done so many things where I felt embarrassed. I felt stupid. I felt like I shouldn't have did that, but ultimately I'm going after my goal, and one of the good books that helped me too that I read was called a book called Go for No. And it's just basically like helping you overcome that fear of hearing no, because that's the one thing that stops us so much is just hearing no. And it's like, you miss every shot you don't take, bro. Like if you want to be a busier barber, it really is as simple as you just going outside of your shop wherever you are, and just asking every single person, would you like a haircut? It really is that simple, right? But most people won't do that because it will make them uncomfortable. They feel like it's embarrassing. You know, they don't want to get rejected, when it's like, if you can just learn that those feelings aren't going to kill you, you'll get to your goals a lot quicker.
Facts, right? You know, just people being scared of rejection, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, those are just simple things, right? So I know it's time to get into the Q&A. I know Enchant is here.
I appreciate all of y'all kicking it with us too, man. Thank you for taking time to spend time with us and engage and ask questions. Y'all could be doing anything else with your time. And the fact you're giving us your time, I'm forever grateful for that, because I understand. And just like you all need to understand, man, time is our most precious asset. It's the one thing in life that once we give it, we never get it back. So the fact you're spending time with us, we're all truly grateful for that. So we just want to say thank you.
Definitely.
All right. Thank you so much, Marv. So we do have quite a bit of questions in the chat, and we have less than 30 minutes. So if we can keep the answers as brief as possible, that would be amazing. But before we kick it off, I do want to uplift. We have so many student barbers in the masterclass right now. So shout out to them. Chiliano says, Marv, I just graduated school last May, still currently working on my license. I am mobile. I take my ring light and backpack. I'm trying my best to become official licensed barber, but need guidance. So I'm here now. And I'm going to read off 2 questions from other barber students that we have. Give me 1 second. There's so many coming in.
It's always fun.
Yeah. Damon says, I have 30 days left of barber school. How can I grow my clientele fast?
So
Damn.
I'm assuming these questions are for me to answer, or are they for both of us, Ray? How does this work?
They are for both. They're for you
Both.
and Ray. I also want to uplift. Do y'all want to answer? Because we have 2 barber school questions. So do y'all want to answer it in the same go round?
Yeah, that's
No,
fine.
Marv can answer that one first. You know, we'll just ping off with each other. I'll start the second answer off.
Okay,
Question.
got you. And I'll try my best to keep my answer short. Just cut me off if you have to. But what I would say for barber school guys, or any of you newbies, right, and rookies, invest into your education. All right. So many of you are gonna feel tempted to want to buy the newest clipper every time it drops, or the newest this, that, and the third. No, invest into your education. You have resources out there like Chris Basio is doing a 6-figure barber mentorship. That thing is amazing. Invest into that. You have people like me. I have classes. I make them super affordable, courses, super affordable, where on demand you can learn, right? So invest into your education. If you can get the physical classes where you get to go places and sit and take notes and all that, do that. But you don't even necessarily have to nowadays. There's so much free education online that you can check out. There's so many courses, classes, mentorships. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't invest in my education when it comes to reading, when it comes to going to physical classes. I've done so many courses, so many mentorships, and I'm going to continue to do them. So with you guys being in barber school and still at that student stage, just sign up for as many of those as you can. And then when you learn the info, make sure you implement the info. Don't become the person that becomes addicted to education but allergic to execution. You want to make sure you get the info and then put it to use right away.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I second that. So I don't even got nothing to add to that.
I got you, bro. You know.
Yeah, you good. You shut it down. Go ahead.
Emmanuel asks, what would be better in the long run, an apprenticeship or barber school? And I don't mean just getting licensed. I mean gaining the experience, learning techniques, and understanding how things work.
Okay, and there was another one I think you asked before that one as well. How to build something up fast, was it? How to build their clientele up fast, Enchante?
Yes, that's what Damon asked. He's asked, how can I grow my clientele fast? Well, faster, because he left barber school 30 days ago.
Okay. What I wanted to say there is to kind of trust the process. You know, take your time. It's you have if this is your career, right? This is something that you plan on doing 20, 30, 40, you know, 50 years possible. Some people feel like they're doing. So it's not a race right now to be booked. Obviously, that's what you want to do, but getting the principles down, learning the basics, getting your time schedule down packed, using these booking apps and knowing how to train your clientele to make sure that they're booking with you online. Main one to me is you take your ass to work. You can't build your clientele up when you're not in the shop, when you're always on the run. I got to go do this. I got to go pick my kids up. I got to go pick this up. I'm going to do this. That's when you're starting off. I used to have barbers in my shop that would be there 7 days a week. One of these barbers I had was like 7 days a week for 6 years straight, every single day. So to me, it's just kind of stay the course, not try to move too fast, learn the industry first. Just get better with, being a barber, being a people person, and shit, learning your clippers and stuff like that. So
let me just add to that real quick too. Give as many free haircuts as you possibly can, as many as you can, because number one, you don't lose anything by giving a free haircut. You only gain. You get reps in, you get better at your whole skill set, and you give yourself an opportunity to
referrals.
lock. Yep, you give yourself an opportunity to get referrals, to lock people in as reoccurring clients, and you also give yourself an opportunity to create content with that free haircut. Now, not everybody's going to want to be your model for your content, but if you can figure out a way to do a lot of haircuts in exchange for content that you then use, and you can use on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. I would say TikTok number one, because the algorithm is phenomenal. Free haircut in
Oh, wow.
exchange for a cool video for TikTok. Post it to TikTok. Get consistent at that. Do that as frequently as possible as you can for the next 6 months, and you'll be amazed at the amount of people that start coming in from TikTok.
That's a smart strategy. So, speaking of social media, a lot of folks had questions around branding and social media. Folks are saying they're fans of Marv on TikTok, and folks are also asking, what's the best way to appeal to potential clients on social media? Which I feel like you kind of touched on that with what you just said, but are there any other ways to appeal to clients in addition to what you just shared?
Well, so what are we talking about? Social media?
Yes.
You want to take that, Ray?
I can start off. You can finish it.
Yeah. Okay.
To me, on social media, right, I don't create content. Marv, he might have a different answer for you. But to me, I would want to appeal to the customer, right? What do they see when the videos that you're creating, what do they see when they're coming through your door? Your videos, what does it show when they're coming through the door? Do they sit there? Do you throw the hot towel on? Do you show, all that type of stuff? Are they getting drinks? Are you giving them hot towel? All that type of stuff. It lets the client see the experience that you give. So, if you have a good experience that you give your clients, I think that's something that you can show, and that would help you a lot on social media.
Yeah, absolutely. And to just add to that, I don't know if you guys know, like I said earlier, I do courses, I have classes, I have social media stuff. So if you're really serious about trying to figure out social media, I highly recommend you sign up for that stuff, because there's a whole bunch of full-length classes, short videos, templates, guides, cheat sheets, a whole bunch of stuff. If you want, just DM me after we get off of this on Instagram. DM me and say you're on the Zoom, and I'll give you like a promo code or something to sign you guys up, because there's just so much information I can't get to in this little rant. But ultimately, it is like what Ray said. You want to keep in mind, if you're going to use social media for business to attract customers, you want to do your best to be in the mind of that customer. And the problem that so many barbers make is that they make content that appeals to barbers, but not necessarily to clients. So that's why you see so many
Yep.
barbers get a lot of love from barbers and follows from barbers, but they don't actually get a ton of clients from it, because the content doesn't appeal to the everyday person. Believe it or not, just looking at my skits, and I'm not saying create skits like Marv, but my skits get so many people trying to book with me and coming to my shop, and I don't even show me cutting hair. I show me talking to myself, playing multiple characters, and I'm getting tons of people reaching out to me trying to come to the shop every week without me even showing cutting hair. And the reason that helps is because the content that I create is appealing to more than just a barber. It's appealing to the everyday person, right? So just in your mind, try to get in the mind of the person you're looking to attract into your business, and ask yourself, what would they want to see? What type of content do they consume? What problems are they having? What challenges are they facing? And then try to be the expert that delivers the solutions for the problems they're facing. So an example could be something as simple as saying, you know, here's 5 ways to maintain your beard in between visits with your barber, right? That's a something that's appealing to the everyday person that may have a barber, right? And you share tips, 5 tips that are super helpful for them. They now perceive you as an expert barber because you gave them tips that help them in between their visit with their barber. And who knows, maybe if they're in your area and can't get in with their barber one day, now they think of you, they figure out how to book with you, and they come see you.
And that's all sales. And Chante, I seen a question earlier, if you don't mind me answering it.
Yeah, go ahead.
It was about which booking app to use, right? Um, and at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which booking app that you choose. Obviously, we hope that you're using the cut. If you're not, you can use right now, you can use code BB class. It'll give you 3 months free when you sign up with the cut. But it's actually learning how to use the damn apps, right? Everybody wants to have the apps, but you're not learning how to use them properly. You're not sending, if your time is slow and you know this month is slow when we get to the new year in February and January, these times are slow. That's when you use discount codes, right? Use the feature of discount codes. Send people $10 off or $5 off. I haven't seen you in a while. These they'll let you know when the last time your clients was there. If they were there 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago, you want to send an email or text, how you been? Hey, did I do something wrong? Or, they'll let you know like, oh no, I just moved to another city, right? So you'll kind of understand where your clients are going and how to kind of, create that stuff. So to me, really is learning these apps and how to use them and how to put your clients in there and how to train your clients on how to book is the main thing, before which app does this and that.
Agreed. Very well said.
But definitely use the cut. Okay, another question is, should you make a price list, or is it better to make your price with everything included, such as a haircut, facial treatment, etc.?
So for me, I'm just a big believer in simplifying everything. I hate confusion. I hate complexity. And the problem is sometimes you give two people too many choices and it's just like, it's just too much. So I maybe this ain't the way to do it, but the way I do it is I keep it real simple. It's just, I charge, right now I have adult haircut and I have a kid's haircut. And then I have a first time customer option because I like to have my first time customer option a little longer just because the consultation might be, I got to make sure I'm delivering it right. Maybe we're shooting a video or something, so I need that little extra space. So those are the options that I have. I remember back when I first started, we did have like haircut, then plus eyebrows, plus beard, plus all that. But I got rid of that. I just have a time slot, adult haircut, kids haircut, first time haircut.
That's funny because that's, we have the same kind of philosophy, right? Anybody here from Anti-Broke know when we, had our classes or talking about them, we always say to have, at least 3, 4 choices to choose from, right? Shouldn't be more than that because you're when somebody goes on your page, and I've done it before. I went to somebody's booking link and I see add haircut, add eyebrow, add $5, add this. I don't even know what to do. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm going to find somebody else. Those little key thing in sales are triggers to customers, right? That if they have to make too many steps or do this and that, they're not going to book with you. They're going to look somewhere else. Like it's just a triggered mindset. Even if they knew they had to wait one more second to be able to get through to you, they'll just go look for someone else, right? So I think just the same as he said, it's haircut, it's kids, it's ours is presidential treatment, right? Our thing is have a kid's price, a regular price, or it's even if it's just a haircut, the next price, and then 120 gives you all the works, right? Make it simple. Let them choose what they want. To me, I'm a big believer in the high priced one because you don't know people's money, right? So when you get new clients, they just might want the works and they might not care about $100, right? So they'll book the $100 and not care and want the little extra little stuff that you're going to be doing that's not going to cost you nothing. To me, so yeah, just keeping it simple with the just 3, 4 choices kind of max.
Yeah, make it easy to book with you and the process simple. When in doubt, keep
Yeah.
it simple, man.
Jay asked, how do you juggle being a barber and a shop owner?
So I'm lucky. and I wish we would have got to talk about this a little more early, but like I have such a dope team. Like my team is my younger cousin, and then four, five. One's my younger cousin, one's my best friend I grew up with. The other four used to be clients of mine, and then the other one is somebody that I also grew up with. So like we're a very tight knit family. So I'm in an anomaly situation where like I'm good. Like as a shop owner that don't have to worry too much about my shop. So that's why you don't really see me speaking on a lot of barbershop stuff, because I recognize I'm such the anomaly. But what I will say, what I've noticed from a lot of shop owners, one mistake to you want to avoid making as a shop owner is becoming too close with the people that you work with, because I know you guys can relate, man. It'd be family and friends that be the ones that take advantage of you the most. It's just whether right or wrong, it just is, right? So when you find yourself maybe trying to get too close with the people that are the barbers in your shop, that's when they start trying to, test and see what they can get away with, and start being somewhat disrespectful in the sense that, like, how family and friends could get sometimes. So I would say do your best to find that balance to where it's like a good vibe, a good culture, but there's still enough distance to where they still know like you're the shop owner.
Man, that family part is key, right? And a lot of stuff that we do, because even my shops, right? I don't necessarily be in them. Um, I opened my shops for my friends and my family, right? So I have two of my younger brothers that are barbers, both been barbers now like 10 years, 6 years, 7 years plus right now, right? So I owe a lot to them, because I'm sure those are the ones that run my shop for me, right? So I've just been kind of blessed in that area, but I do understand the friends and family part in that. It's kind of hard to separate sometimes, right? Especially if you're an owner and you're a caring owner, right? You know that these people have certain issues, and you kind of give them leeway on these certain type of things. So that makes it a lot more harder. So sometimes, and everybody's shop is different, how it's ran is different. So finding that medium that works with you and kind of how you work with your team.
And one thing I want to say before we move on too is you got to remember the times we're in, guys. And we're in the times where there's a lot of freedom and flexibility with jobs. So trying to operate with being too much of like that dictator, and like just not giving people that room to be a little free and flexible, it can be a major turnoff. Especially
Yeah.
nowadays with everything being so flexible. So it's trying to strike that balance between having people being able to move how they need to move while also maintaining some sort of structure. And it can be hard to figure it out. I think my shop leans a little bit too much on not enough structure sometimes, but I think I'd rather have it that way, because it's like, it gets figured out.
And I like you said that, right? Because I hear Bazio's stuff right now, and everybody runs their shops different, right? There's no like set structure, right? You'll have your supercuts that has their policy, that what they do, right, and might not be the most popular, but shit, they have the most shops in the damn country, so they're doing something right. So it's, like you said, man, it's just really kind of figuring out what's best for you and how you deal with the people that come into the shop, because sometimes you can give them too much leeway or not enough leeway, right? And to me, I'm of the component, right? I've had a shop now going on almost 13 years. People, they come in and out, right? There's people that quit barbering that goes, like, you're gonna be just like anybody else, always hiring, right? So don't look at yourself a certain way if you're not always full, your chairs are not always full, or have this or profiting. Like, I've had over the 13 years, I've had so many ups and downs, right? So many times where it's steady, then you have ups and downs. So that's just a part of business, right? So if we want everything to be A1 and perfect from day one, that's not going to happen, right? Even the knowledge that I have, or other barbers or other owners that we still going to go through things. And so that's just part of the journey.
Sure.
It is, it is. And we have Jaden, keeping with the barbershop owner themed question. Jaden asks, before becoming a shop owner, what were the main things you indulged in that led you to the position you're in now?
Meaning becoming a shop owner? Is that how we're interpreting that, or?
I think so. Becoming a shop owner, becoming so influential in the industry.
Okay,
I mean,
well,
for
I
me,
guess
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. You got it. I
I'll
don't
go
want to
that
cut
one
you.
first, because obviously you were in you were a shop. You're a barber. Then obviously, mostly cats want to start opening their own shops. But for me, I'm from Los Angeles, right? So I worked in a nightlife and throwing parties since I was 18 years old, right? So I worked in Hollywood doing clubs for close to 15 years, concerts, after parties, just weekly events, all that type of stuff. So I've always brung people to things. So, long story short, I always want to open a barbershop. So, I saved my money doing shows and concerts and things like that. And I opened a barbershop and a clothing store. And I had barbers that were my friends and my brothers and stuff like that went to school. So that's what kind of led me to opening a barbershop, right? Having that promoter um business mindset, right? And knowing how to navigate a business. And I can put people in any indoors, right? I can open a shop anywhere in the country right now. I know that when I open up, I'll have all the chairs full and wherever they're at, right? That's just some knowledge and things I've learned from what I was doing before I got into owning a shop. So that's just what me and Marv earlier said, was going to school, taking classes, reading books on how to do other things, right? Because all these things coincide with you being a barber or being a shop owner. You want to know how to promote, you want to know how to market, you want to be able to, a little bit. Me, I'm blessed to kind of have a, like the psychology realm. So I know how humans and people and barbers act, right? So that gives me an edge. And there's some barbers that are not good in all those aspects. That's why I say, add to your portfolio on what you're doing, and just because you became a barber and got a license, that's not the end all be all. We still want to add and learn. And just like Marv said, we want to constantly be learning, taking classes. So if that's taking class, Marv, on how to, get in front of the camera or do this and pull this out of you and this type of stuff, then go for that. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit of my background starting.
I would say to you guys that are considering getting into barbershop ownership, invest into John C. Maxwell. He's a big on leadership, and he's written a few books, and he does like seminars and stuff. But even if you don't, because they're on the pricier side, but start by reading his books, because when you become a shop owner, the determinant factor of whether or not your shop is going to be successful or unsuccessful is your ability to lead, right? So you want to make sure that you are doing your best to become a good leader, and a good start would be to read all of John C. Maxwell's stuff when it comes to leadership, and then do your best to, again, implement it.
I want to circle back on the apprenticeship question, but before we do this, Tristan is asking how old y'all are, and I want to make sure, Tristan, my friend, I got you. I see your question. So when you answer this question, you could just say your age, but Emmanuel asked, is it better to go to barber college or do an apprenticeship?
So
Ooh, that's a
I'm
good question.
38. I'm doing No Shave November. So, usually with the baby face, I look a little younger, but I'm 38 years old. How old are you, Ray?
I'm 40. I just turned 40.
Let's
Same
go.
thing. If I got a haircut, I would be about 28. You know what I'm saying? So, yep, 40.
Cool. My short answer with barber apprenticeship or barber school is, it's such a complex question, and it varies depending on the person. It depends on where you are, like the schools around you and apprenticeship opportunities around you, because not all barber schools are created equal. Not all apprenticeship opportunities are created equal, and not all people and their work ethic are created equal. So it varies, right? Um, at least in my instance, I always try to tell people, if you can do both, do both. And that's what I had a couple barbers actually do in my shop, where they were able to go to school part-time and then work in the shop part-time, because barber school is going to teach you, for the most part, what you need to know to pass your state's test to get your license. In most instances in barber schools, you're not going to learn all of the stuff you think you're going to learn. A lot of that is going to be learned either in the shop through experience, or just from you seeking education on yourself, on your own. The school's responsibility is to teach you what you need to know to pass your state's test to become a licensed barber. And I didn't always understand that. So that's why back when I graduated barber school, a lot of times I thought I got ripped off and it was a waste of my money because I didn't feel like I learned much from my school. But knowing what I know now, I learned everything that I was supposed to learn because I passed my state test and I got my license, right? But then you do have people like Will Stam in Atlanta with Pro Fresh Barber Academy, my homie Donnie Joseph in South Dakota, Erskine Reeves with his barber school, Tyreek with his barber school. So there are people that have barber schools that are like next level. But just know that most barber schools are going to teach you what you need to know to get your license, and all that other learning is going to come from being in the shop and getting hands-on experience. But at the same time, just going to an apprenticeship, it could be a huge mistake, especially if you apprentice under the wrong leadership and in the wrong experience. It could set you off on a terrible foot for your barbering career, and just it could be really bad if you're not apprenticing under the right people. So it's a loaded question. I'm sure you got some thoughts for it too.
Yeah, mine's just a little bit kind of dependent on circumstances, right? Everybody has their different circumstances. I know there's some people that's like, man, I have to work. I cannot not work and then go to, barber school or whatnot, or do the whole 9 months or a year without having a job, right? So to me, it depends on what you have, what you're going through, what you're blessed with. Some people still live with their parents. They got the option to do that. Some don't, right? They need to make money and stuff like that. Some they've already been cutting for X amount of years and now they're trying to go to school or whatnot. So they know all the stuff. So it's always based. A lot of my answers all the time is every individual in this is different. So everybody's kind of answer and would always be different because people's circumstances are what everyone's dealing with.
I would say for the most general response that I could give based on what I truly think, just trying to just put a general response out there would be, if you got an opportunity to apprentice under phenomenal leadership at a really good shop, a busy shop, a great energy, great culture, and you got an opportunity to apprentice there, go for that, right? But if you're just trying to go there to not spend the money to go to barber school, and there's not really a shop that stands out that has that culture, or it seems like it's going to be a spot that can really take you like to the next level, then just go to the best barber school you can for the cheapest price. Because again, at the end of the day, I mean, I don't know if I should say this, but you're really just going to barber school to get your license. So why spend 28,000 if you could spend 17,000 to get that license?
But sometimes to kind of piggyback off that and maybe push back on that, sometimes I find it that these barbers need barber school, right? They need some structure. Anything that's helping them create structure, that pattern of structure, some of them need it, right? Some, when you give them the freedom to have their own schedule right off top, they develop bad habits, right? And just like you said, if you're under somebody that's allowing you to do these bad habits, those are things it's kind of hard to break, or you know mess up your clientele starting off. So it's all different, but shit, if you got a chance to go to school, man, go to school. That 9 months is going to kill you in a year in a career that you're trying to be in for 30, 40 years. What is that 9 months, man? Go learn. So
Yeah, it flies by, and I agree 1,000,000%. Because we need, at the end of the day, you either got to create your own structure, or sometimes you just need people to structure you. So if you got to know yourself, guys, and if you just know that if you gonna like sleep in and cut corners and stuff like that, take the lazy route, you take your ass to barber school, bro.
We have 1 minute left. Emmanuel is asking about scholarships to go to barber school. He's about to graduate high school. I do want to uplift, the Cut does have a scholarship for folks who are graduating high school and interested in going into barber school. It is not open, but it's going to open up early next year. We already picked the winner for this year, but the scholarship will open back up next year. So this is our last question, because we actually are at time. But somebody asked, basically, if you make a mistake when cutting someone's hair and want to retain that client, you want that client to come back, how can you basically market to them and get them to come back, and let them know that you won't make the same mistake again the next time the haircut will be what they want?
So one time I was cutting one of my clients, and he got a 4 on top, and we like to troll each other and joke and mess around with each other. This was years ago. And as I'm buzzing him down on the top, the guard fell off and I balded him on the top of his head. So immediately I'm like, yo, bro, I just bald at you. And he thought I was joking, I was trolling. He didn't believe I was serious. And I'm like, no, bro, I really balded you. So I had to show him the mirror. Had a nice big bald spot. So then, okay, the question is, how do we fix it? How do we fix it? So the only options were either I could just cut it real low, and maybe we could
Is this a
do like
regular? Is this a regular
this.
client or a new?
This wasn't a new. This was somebody I cut a handful of times, so this wasn't brand new.
Okay.
If you mess up on somebody new, that's gonna be real tough to get them to
Rough
come
one.
back.
That's a rough one.
And that's going to be
Yeah.
tough. But this guy, he was one I cut a few times. So, long story short, what we ended up doing was just cutting it real low. I told him we can either do a design or something to like make it look like it's not an accident. He didn't want that. He lived with the bald spot. I gave him a free haircut, and I told him that I would continue giving him free haircuts until his hair got right back to the length it was supposed to be. So I ended up giving him like a total of 4 haircuts for free. At that time, I was charging $20 a cut. So, he's give me 25. It's $100 it cost me, but he still comes to the shop this day. So I kept him. So, that's a way that worked for me. If you cut somebody new and you jack them up right away, I hope you got a great personality. I hope you're a good energy. And they resonate with you. They connect on the sports teams or whatever your conversation was that felt the connection to you, because that's going to be the thing that could help them override the fact that you messed them up. But if you cut somebody for the first time ever and you mess them up, it's going to be very hard to get them back. And it's okay, because it's just part of the process. I've messed up people that never came back to me. It's rough, but it happens. It's part of the journey.
Yep. And shit, everybody needs stuff like that. Well, one, Marv, man, I want to thank you. I know this definitely isn't enough time of, we could have went over a million different things, right? Different subjects or whatnot. But I definitely want to thank you for joining us. Look forward to all the things that you have going on. I definitely want to let everybody know, man, just like Marv said, education is key, right? Going outside, meeting people. Some barbers don't like to leave the shop. They don't like to go to things. That's fine, right? Everybody has a different end goal in this industry. But if you want to keep sometimes your sanity, right? Just sitting in that shop for 365, man, will drive people crazy. Sometimes go to these expos, right? Go meet some of these people. Go talk to Marvs. Go up to these other clipper booths and things like that. You never know the opportunities that you're going to get, or the knowledge that you can get, or just just some energy shift, right? You just might be tired of this and that, and a certain conversation with someone help push and navigate that forward, right? So we all go through things. We all have our ups and downs. We deal with stuff inside the shop, outside of the shop, family and stuff like that. But just make sure that we're always pressing forward, we're always learning, and and just staying positive and putting positive energy out there. I don't know if you want to close off or say anything else, Marv, as well.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks again, man. Thank you guys for having me. This is fun. Was fun, a lot of fun, and I look forward to doing it again. And I look forward to watching you guys continue to grow and evolve, and I can't wait to see what this turns into. Just thank you for having me, and thank you everybody that tuned in. I hope you guys got a lot of value from this. I hope you learned some stuff. And if you want to work more with me, you can either go to my website, itsMarvyMarv.com, which you'll see that right on my Instagram or TikTok, wherever you follow me. You'll see the link to my site. You can see what I have to offer. Or, like I said earlier, for those of you that have been on, I have classes and courses. DM me on Instagram sometime within the next hour if you would like. And, I'll give you guys some deals on some of the classes and courses I got. Do like a buy one, get one free for you guys, or, a nice big coupon code or something like that. So just DM me and let me know you're on here, and I'll hook you up. Thanks again, guys. I enjoyed this a lot. You're the man, Ray. Appreciate y'all.
Yep. And the cut has 3 months for free for anybody that signs up right now. Use the code BBClass. And as well on Anti-Broke Barbers Club, we're doing 25% off. That was anybody in this class, and use the code BBClass. They're the same on Anti and on the cut. Thank you guys for joining us, and look forward to the next masterclass. Appreciate it.